Manchester United are linked with the signing of exciting holding midfield player Boubacar Kamara from Marseille. This at the same time as United face the potential of a number of exits from Old Trafford this January, with the likes of Edinson Cavani, Anthony Martial, Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba and Donny van der Beek, all linked with moves away from Ralf Rangnick's team. We're going to delve into that and much, much more on the Done Deal show this afternoon. Also looking at the talk about the Premier League, maybe having a round of festive games cancelled, the Premier League to be stopped for a period of time as a bit of a circuit breaker. We're just going to take a quick look at Lucadinha to Chelsea, the news that Tottenham have been kicked out of the Europa Conference League as well. Make sure that like button has been smashed. Make sure you've retweeted this stream if you're watching on Twitter. Please sign up to our Twitch account now. We've got some massive exclusive content coming there very, very soon. The link's in our description below. This is the Done Deal Show. Here we go. Welcome back to the Terrace. Good morning, everybody. Hope you are well. Sarim, thank you very much for re-signing as an official member again of the Football Terrace. It means a great deal to us as well. It always does when you guys sign up to our membership programs. And of course, subscribe to the Terrace as well. Lots to delve into this morning. Lots of transfer news really starting to build up now, 10, 11 days before the transfer window opens. A lot of it today circling around Manchester United as well. And let's delve into it. Lots of exits from United being discussed. Donny van der Beek, Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Martial, Edinson Cavani. There is the possibility that all of those players leave in January. The slimmest is with Donny van der Beek. Highly unlikely that the club is going to allow him to move. In fact, it doesn't even look like he's overtly pushing for it. With Paul Pogba on the way out, there is a lot of talk with whoever our next potential manager is going to be for Donny to stay and fight for his place. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Jesse Lingard, again, is another who yesterday was linked with the move away. This morning, Samuel Larkhurst is suggesting that he will stay and he will fight for his place in this Manchester United team. Some of the bigger exit news is Martial, Cavani. Now, Cavani is very close, we believe, to agreeing, coming to a total agreement to join Barcelona and leave Manchester United. However, Man United have stated this morning that they do not feel that this will happen in January. He may do a pre-agreement. He may have a total agreement with Barcelona to become a Barcelona player at the Camp Nou, but that will not be in their view until the summer of 2022 when his contract with Manchester United runs out. There were some claims yesterday that this deal could go ahead in January, but Man United are not expecting that at this moment in time to happen. But what's very, very important about that brief are the words "at this moment in time." United don't expect it to happen. That gives me just a slight gut feeling that the world could change if other deals fall in place for Manchester United. Now, Anthony Martial will be key in this. He is pushing for a permanent move away from the club. This is highly unlikely in January, with the loan option with the potential obligation to buy being put in place. And if Anthony Martial leaves, it's highly unlikely Man United will want to sanction the early release of Edinson Cavani, which he is very much aware of as well. But Man United are looking to bring players in. Now, a very talented 22-year-old holding midfield player from Marseille, Boubacar Kamara, who has been linked to Man United and a plethora of top European teams for a while now, is this morning linked with a sensational move to Manchester United. And this deal in January appears today to be likely, as though this could happen. It's believed that this deal could happen for Manchester United as early as January. Now, this role, this holding midfield type role for Manchester United has been something Reds have been screaming for and asking for and begging for a very, very long time. So there will be a hell of a lot of excited Manchester United fans at the potential of bringing him in. Now, this is what the report says here. I'm going to read this out to you. It says, Man United are very interested in signing Kamara. The Red Devils want to improve their midfield in their hunt for a top 4 spot. Kamara, who is 22, is absolute hot property, having attracted interest from all over Europe. According to a number of outlets across France, Manchester United are in the driving seat to sign him. They claim that boss Ralf Rangnick is convinced that Kamara is the right signing for the team and was very much part of early negotiations in his Manchester United appointment. There are even claims a deal could be announced in the first few days of January. The Red Devils' path to signing Kamara has been cleared, with Real Madrid pulling out of the race due to their links to other players. Former Real Madrid boss Zinedine Zidane is a big fan of the French under-21, the under-21 star. Barcelona have also been interested, but the wealthier Man United are ahead of Xavi and co in this race. It says here that Kamara has made 141 appearances for Marseille since breaking through in their youth setup. And there's a lot of young players in the French leagues that are linked with moves to the Premier League. Of course, the likes of Tchouaméni, as an example. The lad who's got Samaria that's just joined Leicester. There was also the lad that was linked, and the viewers are going to help me with this. What's the name of the lad? Who was the name of the lad that was linked with Man United all through the summer? Camavinga as well. So yeah, I literally just forgot the name of a player there. I was sitting there going, who was the guy that was linked with this all summer? So there are a number of these young players that are linked, and no one ever really knows who the top guy. We're already seeing here Samari is better than Kamara. I'm pretty sure if I look at the live comments, somebody's already said that Tchouaméni. Yes, Tchouaméni is better, and you're always going to get that. But that is who Man United are linked with, and you know there is the potential for Manchester United to look at bringing in this young lad now. But I want your take on this. I feel like I've been saying for a while now, I feel like this could be a very, very strong January window for a lot of football clubs out there. And the difference is what I like about Kamara, though, compared to some of the other midfielders. Hadara is an example who's linked with Man United. That's very unlikely to be in January, by the way. The fact that he's going away, I believe, to play for Mali in the AFCON is probably going to stop Hadara's move happening anytime before the new year. Before the summer. And I look at it this way, like Kamara is one of these players who I've only seen play on a handful of occasions. I'm not going to sit here and suddenly start pretending that he is, I've been dreaming about this kid forever. That would be a lie from me personally. What I've seen, there's a raw but very capable player. 6 foot to 6'1". He's strong. He's quick. But he occupies what Man United need. A lot of the other midfielders we get linked to, when you start to look at their performances, where they operate on the pitch, they spend a lot of time north of that halfway line. They're box to boxes. What United need is that holding and sitting player. And when you look at the way Kamara plays, and I've been looking at his stuff this morning for the last 2 or 3 hours on Y-Scout, really looking at where he operates, where he works from, he is very much behind the halfway line. He's shielding that back line. This is the profile of football player that Manchester United have been looking for and seeking, in my opinion, for a long, long time. And I kind of hope that there is truth to this. I hope that this is the type of player that Manchester United, if they're going to sign anybody in January, that's the mold that I want them to sit in. We are talking about a very capable player indeed. Over 5 interceptions per game, very rarely loses the ball in his own half. Large number of recoveries, over 10 times per game. But it's his defensive duels that he wins that impresses me the most. For a young lad, he's winning 72%. 72% of his defensive duels and 60% of his aerial duels and battles as well. And this is key for Manchester United in that area. Whether he can cut it or not in the Premier League is a very different conversation to be had. Nobody ever knows. Nobody ever knows how players are going to do when adapting to the Premier League or moving countries in that way. But a very exciting prospect for Manchester United fans to look at as well. Sally here says overrated. Is what Sally believes it is, and maybe he will be. Farmer's tax is what this Liverpool fan says. Some unhappy rivals at Man United's links here. But there we go. If Pogba leaves United, could go for Declan Rice. His wages will be less, but transfer fees will be around 90 mil. Look, I'd love Declan Rice at Manchester United, but I've said all along, this is where Ralf Rangnick makes his money. This is why I'm excited about Ralf being at the club. Forget what he does on the pitch for the next 6 months. If you look at the Leipzig project, the talent they've found from obscurity, from nowhere, that nobody else was looking at, the Manes, the Naby Keitas, the Haalands, just to name a few. This is what I want Man United now to utilise him for. Can we find that player who is Declan Rice level that's not Declan Rice money? I'm not suggesting Kamara is that guy. I'm pointing out that these signings very much excite me, and I know Man United fans are excited by them as well. Kimmich, yeah, great example. Salzburg, not Leipzig. Yeah, but they're part of the same. You do realize, my brother, that they're all part of the RB project, right? You do realize that they're one organism.
Awkward. Sorry to point that out, my friend.
When trolling goes wrong. Trolling goes wrong. Overrated until he's linked with someone else is what Sharek's got to say here. Terry, I feel like Man United, Spurs and Chelsea will sign players in Jan, whereas Liverpool will try to be sustainable. Look, I feel like the January transfer window is going to be key. It's going to be really, really key for a lot of teams. And I've said all along, with Aston Villa have promised Gerrard money. Tottenham have promised Conte money. Newcastle have promised Eddie Howe money. They are going to be... I'll give you an example today for Chelsea fans. Chelsea are linked with Luca Digne. But as of this morning, Newcastle United and Leicester are now putting in serious inquiries into him as well. They are looking to push the boat out and try and sign him now. You've got Tottenham that are looking at a gargantuan financial offer to bring Rudiger in. And they may even try and push to get him earlier. It may not go ahead, but there's a lot of work being done by a lot of teams, and a lot of money they're looking to exchange hands. So sometimes you're forced into acting now. What if Man United's main summer target suddenly gets offered a huge amount of money from Tottenham, huge amount of money from Newcastle? You'd be an idiot to sit there and rest on your laurels and not push forward. So I think it could be a pretty big January indeed. If some of these teams that have promised money go out there and spend it. And sometimes it takes one transfer to go and get it done. Now, I think Chelsea will sign Luca Digne. I think Chelsea will get that done, especially over Leicester and Newcastle. But they can't afford to sit back too long and rest on their laurels. You don't want to be missing out. Any Liverpool news, Terry? Not really. Liverpool aren't really linked with any players massively this January. It's highly likely in January that Mo Salah signs his new deal. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was announced maybe 7 to 10 days into the window, that Mo Salah signed his new deal. It will be a very, very big deal. But that would be my guess in relation to this. Of course, we're all waiting for updates about the potential suspension of the Premier League as well today. That meeting is going on at lunchtime, so it's starting either now or at 1 o'clock, in and around that time. We will update you on that as soon as we can. And remember, 6 p.m. tonight, the Bet Victor show is back. KJ's on. Daniel's here for us. We've got loads to delve into. Chelsea's title race being in tatters. Spurs looking very, very strong. January transfer window on the horizon. Of course, we'll be previewing the Boxing Day games as well. Fingers crossed that they are going to be going ahead in relation to that. John here says, Liverpool were very lucky. Did not know Liverpool supporters were so emotional. Very moany people is what John's got to say. Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily say moany. I was very surprised yesterday at Liverpool fans yesterday said they didn't miss Van Dijk, and it was their midfield. A lot of Liverpool fans yesterday were almost happy as well, or pretending to be happy, that this proves they're not title favourites or something. It's very weird to me, the response yesterday. I think there's a lot of disappointment from Liverpool fans who expected to beat Spurs and beat Spurs well. That's kind of what I felt like looking at this. That's what I kind of felt sort of looking at this and reading this and kind of just going through it. It was they were very, very upset with their club yesterday and team for not winning and not getting things done and over the line. That's how it felt from a Liverpool perspective yesterday. Especially as I've seen Liverpool fans today say Man United fans are in no place to banter them. As soon as you see fans say teams below us shouldn't banter us, that tells you man are rattled. Rattled. But there we go. There we go. We're going to share the link now to come on if anybody's got anything to say about these transfer rumors that are going around today. Plus, Spurs fans, we want to hear from you as well. Kicked out of the Europa Conference League. That's got to be a good thing, right? You can't be disappointed in that news. Surely you're not disappointed to be out of that tournament. I want to hear from you right now, people. Kamara to Man United, lots of exits. Transfer news aplenty. Phone in now and have your say. I want to hear from you, people. I want to hear from you right about now. De Ligt is as fraudulent as Kimpembe, is what Bill's got to say there. Some of your comments are so funny, man. Some of your comments are so funny. Liverpool fans would rather go for the Champions League. That's what I've gathered from this. I don't think so. I think they're just playing down. I think they're just completely playing down their disappointment from yesterday. Liverpool fans are very good at this, and I mean this in a positive way. Liverpool fans have got this inept way and a brilliant way of painting a positive picture from a negative result or situation. They definitely missed Van Dijk yesterday. They spoke about, and maybe I'll save it. I'm going to say, no, I will say it again now. They spoke about yesterday how it was the midfield that lost the midfield battle. That's why they were leaking chances. It's not true. In the first 45 minutes, they had nearly 70% of the ball. They dominated the midfield. They were just being caught at the back on the counter. So they went for a different approach in the second half. And the approach in the second half was to relinquish pressure, absorb it, and try and counter. But it didn't really work. Spurs still created the abundance of the clear-cut chances. Either way, long balls over the top yesterday, whether it was counter or during general play, were catching Liverpool out. And I'm not saying the midfield was great. I'm not saying the midfield didn't get bypassed at times. But in the first 45 minutes, Spurs had 4 clear-cut chances. And that was when you dominated 60 to 70% of the ball. You just had a bad day at the office yesterday. There's no harm in admitting it. There's no harm in admitting it at all. But there we go. That's just my view. Like, again, I saw some of the biggest Liverpool accounts in the world yesterday tweet saying we did not miss Van Dijk yesterday. I just think that's so disrespectful to Virgil van Dijk. Beyond missed him yesterday. Beyond missed him. He is the best centre-back in the world. Everybody would miss him when he's gone. No doubt. Of course, they missed their midfield as well. But Van Dijk is the leader and the orchestrator at the back. And that was what was missing from the back line at Liverpool yesterday. Organization, no doubt. Right. Get ready to come on with your points. You know, I love having Shrey on the show. Shrey always comes on with a point. I say thank you. And then he comes with another one. He's always ready with a second point, is our Shrey. Shrey's here with me now. What you saying, bro?
Hey Terry, can you hear me?
Yes. What you saying, bro?
Okay, I wanted to first talk on the Premier League stopping. You know, that is one of the things. I genuinely feel, you know, with the cases coming up there, you know, in the UK, I feel like this is gonna boil down to simply playing without fans. I think people are gonna have to start accepting this because I genuinely feel that the crowd there, you know, is having an impact on the players, you know, because of how this variant spreads. You know, I think having large gatherings, you know, that I think has a role to play, you know.
So you
And
think like the crowd that are like 4, 5, 6 meters away from the pitch, you think they're spreading it to the players on the pitch?
right, I think I have a feeling that has something to do with it, you know, like the amount of there 50 60,000 people, you know, in the stadium, you know, that I think that has a, you know, and even like the people close by, you know, it's just like the people are being carriers to this virus. I have a feeling, you know, looking at that.
Fair
That's
enough.
why I think this one.
So you
Right.
think keep the games, but behind closed doors, and that'll fix it.
Right. I think it won't fix it, but I think that's a way to, you know, to keep everybody happy, you know, have games and, you know, that's like a good compromise, you know, rather
I,
than being a fix.
I hear you on that. Listen, a good point being made there, my friend. Good point being made there. Top man, you're a Chelsea fan, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to sign anybody this January?
I think we will. I think we'll get Digne probably. Even Kunde possibly. I think we will go for him. I think because they don't know what's going to happen with Rudiger. Whether he's going to stay or go, we don't know. So I think they will try. They will try for him, and probably who knows, maybe even a backup striker. Because I think with Spurs showing a game plan, how to uh, you know uh, to attack Liverpool, by going with the long balls on over the top. I think they might try and sign somebody, as a backup to Lukaku, because we look toothless, against Wolves. It was clear to see, there's no backup plan, a plan B. So I think we will go for somebody. Question
Fair
is
enough.
who.
Straight top man for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Look, I think Chelsea will end up going for a little bit of Luka Digne. I think that's a position that they really do. They need someone in that, with Ben Chilwell being out. I think that'll be a very sensible acquisition to go out there and make. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. I think they will. Sarim's on the show next. Sarim's a Liverpool fan. What are you here to say, bro?
Yeah, bro, you good?
I'm all right. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I just want to talk about the game yesterday. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know why I'm getting feedback, but right, I'll try my best. But about the game yesterday, I just felt like, like when we talk about spines of teams and 3-4 players that are really important to the way we function. We missed that badly with Fabinho and Van Dijk, and I felt that's why we were so open. Like, to be honest, like Tyler Morton, I think he had a very good game. He was just getting batted up everywhere all across the pitch. James Milner, he had a good game, but again, his age is catching up to him. You can see it. Sometimes when he got to the other side of the pitch, he just looked knackered. And Naby Keita, oh God, honestly, he's so scared of the ball. I think he's just, his injuries are playing on his mind, and he just wouldn't. He's not willing to put a foot in anymore. And that's the thing where I feel like he just gets played out of position every single time. But going back to that game, like I said, I think we miss Van Dijk so much and Fabinho so much that it does show that we will struggle quite a bit without them. And we need to get them back as soon as possible so we can move on forward, because without them, we just look so terrified at the back.
Yeah, look, I think that I agree with you on that. I feel like yesterday when I read Liverpool fans saying that you didn't miss Van Dijk at all, that made me go, "Yep, you did." Straight away. Like, the fact that you said, the fact that anybody would ever, we didn't miss him at all. I get that you missed Fabinho and Thiago. There's no doubt about it. And like I said, though, you actually go back and watch the game. In the first half, you had, and I was looking at this earlier, and I'll do the math on this now, because who scored lets you, like, it's got little draggers, you can do the minutes. In the first half of the game, you had 68% of the ball. But yet, I'm told by Liverpool fans you were conceding chances because you weren't able to dominate the midfield. But you did. You can't have 70% of the ball and not be dominant.
For me, what it is,
it's crazy.
For me, like I get the midfield was good enough for my opinion. Like going forward, they were pretty well defensively. They got picked apart pretty easily, and that's where you need Fabinho. He sits right in front of the top, your front two, so your back two. He cleans up. He drops into the 3 when needed. He's pretty much a leader in that position. And then Van Dijk he's obvious. He's the best centre back in the world. How are we not going to miss him? Last season was prime example where we just literally got smashed pillar to post. Every time the ball came towards our centre backs, I was literally like clenching for dear life. Like, oh my God, we're going to concede any second now. And I think it's just crazy. I genuinely think it's just crazy to say that the midfield is the problem, not the defense, or the defense is the problem, not the midfield. Look, you play 11 men on the ball, 11 men as a team. You attack as a team, you defend as a team. And when the defense is not working, it's everything holistically that's not working. But your leaders, like your Fabinhos, like your Van Dijks, you need them to be there to make sure when shit is hitting the fan, they're stepping up for the fight.
No, I agree. There's a comment here that says Terry reading stats and not watching the game. But I read the stats to confirm what I saw. And I saw that in the first half, Liverpool had the ball. You were just being caught on the counter and the ball's being knocked over the top. but you were winning the midfield battle. They were just knocking it over the top. In the second half, what I saw was a change of approach. You stopped trying to attack and you tried to become the counter-attacking team. And it didn't work as well. You weren't as dangerous in the second half, and you were still conceding the chances because they came from the same place. The deep lying players at Spurs were just knocking the ball over the fucking top. Like, it was when you think about it, that's what would have been frustrating for me. Like, your Liverpool Football Club under Klopp, who are one of the most sophisticated and best teams in the world, and yesterday the most simple of tactics caught you out, and that's a long ball over the top. That's Sunday League level. And for me, that's what I know Liverpool fans believe this, because the mental gymnastics going on to try and pretend like that wasn't happening is, we're all seeing it, and it's like, okay,
it's 4D chess, isn't it? That's what it is.
Exactly. And you're a Liverpool fan and you can see it. You just don't have the energy to sit there and lie and go, do you know what? We just got caught out by it today. And that was, and the only reason you got caught out is because you didn't have Van Dijk orchestrating.
Yeah.
Leadership is so key. The midfield battle was the midfield battle, and you would have had more of the ball and you would have been better in possession with Fabinho and Thiago. No one's denying that. But without Van Dijk, I think even with Fabinho and Thiago, you were still susceptible to those balls over the top catching you out.
But we still would have won, and that's the thing. It's, you need more leaders than anything, and you know, they would have had the leadership in terms of, you know, putting their sleeves up and going for the fight. But we didn't have those players. And look, you have to just put your hands up. Like, Spurs were there. Spurs played so well. Like, I actually like the way they played. You know, they're a bit dirty. They're a bit rough at times. That Kane challenge should have been a red card, but he didn't. You know, the funny thing about it was after the interview, which triggered me, but I liked at the same time. I was like, no, it wasn't a red card. I got the ball. Like, that's nice. Well done. You know, finally, like, a Spurs player having a nasty side to him. Like, looks like Conte might change the Spurs after all.
Mate, I keep telling people, like, anyone who's sleeping on Spurs and Conte is a absolute zoom, as far as I'm concerned, a zoom, because you're talking about one of the world's best managers. He may not be great in Europe, but domestically, this guy has always been brilliant. And if you look at his record in the last 8-9 years as a domestic manager, he's got tunes out of every single team that he's managed. And everybody, because they're Spurs, we want to write them off. But I watched it yesterday, and I just thought to myself, imagine that team yesterday with 3 or 4 extra players with extra. Imagine you take out, you take away someone like an Eric Dyer and put a Skriniar in. Imagine you take out a Winks and you put I don't even know. Imagine you put a Declan Rice in that. I'm not saying they'll get Declan Rice, but imagine you put a Declan Rice in that midfield instead of a Harry Winks. You suddenly add 3 or 4 extra players of quality into this Spurs team under Antonio Conte, and on their day, they can beat anybody. He's just that good a manager. It's the way it is. It's the way it is.
Yeah, and it's literally, for me, it's mentality. It shines through. Like, Harry Winks is crap. Let's just be brutally honest. He is so awful as a player. But even yesterday, he had a good game. He had a very good game, to be fair to him. And it just shows mentality is such a massive factor in football, and it's so underrated.
I need to put this to you. Someone here says, not true, Terry. 70% of the ball doesn't mean we had the midfield.
Can someone Google what the midfielders do in football? Like,
so to point this out, so what we also have here is the ability to look at the percentage of the ball. So during that 70% possession, Milner had 10% of that. And Keita had 17% of it. Morton was your weak link. He only had 4% of the ball.
But he's a child, so that's understandable for me.
So of your 11 players on the pitch, like you got to remember that your Mane had 4%, Jota 2%, Salah 3%. The only other 2 players that really got involved massively was Trent and Robertson with 10% each. But they essentially, if you look at the heat maps, play in midfield anyway when they're in possession. So your 5 midfield-esque players when you're attacking had 10, 20, 30, 37, had 44% of the ball. That's your midfield. So when you had 70% of the play, nearly 50% of it was with your midfield. Which means you dominated the midfield in that part. But bro, come on, stop lying. You won the midfield battle in the first half, but your high line caught you out. That was it, G.
For me, football is the most simple sport in the world. It's literally get the ball and put it in the back of the net. Your midfield job is get the ball from defense, get it into attack as soon as possible for your attackers to put the ball in the back of the net. If they're not doing that, then the midfield isn't doing their job. And that's the way you got to see it. Like, do their job. They did their job. They could have done better. That's what we're trying to look at. That's what
Yeah,
Liverpool
I'm not
reaching for.
suggesting your midfield yesterday was amazing. I'm just stating that what I'm seeing is that the back line and the setup of that back line and the positioning of that back line is being completely relinquished of any responsibility, and it's all being put on the midfield. I think that's disrespectful. There's a comment here that says, Terry, try to understand the counter press system and then say things like midfield was dominant. Dude, without midfield pressing properly, high line always gets caught. Basic Google research.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
You're literally, if you're playing a high line, you want your attackers to press because you're trying to squeeze the ball out of them as soon as possible. From defense, pretty much. You know this because Jurgen Klopp talks about it every single time. He's the one who famously said the best number 10 is the counter press, because what he's trying to do is getting his front players to squeeze the ball out of defenders as soon as possible so they can spring the counter and get the attacks.
Yeah, and look, I'm not suggesting that at times yesterday the midfield was not passed through, but I don't remember, especially in that first half, like I'm talking about, your midfield being passed through. It was, you would lose possession and it would be one pass and then they'd knock the ball over the top and your back line was kind of caught out. But the mad bit, like I'm just saying, both things need to be looked at yesterday, as far as I'm concerned. Sharim, though, great call, my friend, as ever. We'll speak again soon, buddy. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, Flawless is here with us. He's a Chelsea fan. What you saying, bro?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, my brother. What's on your mind, my friend?
Thank you for having me. I just want to make this clear to a lot of Chelsea fans. I think we can challenge for the league, but we cannot win the league with players that we have right now. For example, you see players like Alonso, you see players like Ziyech, players like Christian Pulisic. These players are not good enough. They are inconsistent. So you want to tell me, I was watching the game yesterday. N'Golo Kante that just came back from injury. What's his name? Kovacic that just came back from injury, looking more lively than Ziyech, Pulisic. What is going on? These players are not good enough. Marcos Alonso, please pack your bags, go to Spain, go and eat some paella. Listen, UK is too cold for you. Go to Spain. Spain is warm, and I don't understand what is going on. We also have to ask the board, why is it that we are signing shit players? It is obvious. Drinkwater, Bakayoko, Ziyech, Pulisic. So Marina wants to tell me now that he didn't know that Pulisic was injury prone when we bought it from Dortmund. That guy cannot hold on to the ball for just 2 seconds. He falls like, I don't know. What is going on? These players are not good enough. We cannot win the league with this kind of players. We can only challenge for the league, but these players, they are not good enough. And I see a lot of people talking about Lukaku trying to put on his Timberland boot. If we don't have wingers that can feed Lukaku with passes, that can assist him, how is Lukaku supposed to score goals? We also have to ask our board, we have to ask Marina, what is going on? Why are you signing these kind of players?
I thought Marina was God. Like, didn't she just win an award for the best football director in the world?
Yeah, she won an award. She's supposed to also win an award for signing some shady players that are not able to perform well on the pitch. Look at Christian Pulisic. This guy is always getting injured all the time. And you know that when you are getting injured all the time, you cannot be able to stay fit. Look at Ziyech, the wizardry left foot. That system, it doesn't work on him. He cannot. These players are not good enough. Look at what's his name, Marcos Alonso. Please leave my club. You won a Premier League for us already, so it's time to move on. And what's his name? N'Golo Kante is looking more lively. That's the problem I'm having. N'Golo Kante came on, he was injured, in which he's not supposed to play because he's supposed to be on the bench and regain his strength. But he's looking more lively than some of our players. What is going on? We have to ask Marina, where are you getting all these players from? Which guys are the ones starting these players? Where are you getting Christian Pulisic from? This guy is not good enough. Huh? Look at Ziyech. What is he doing? It's better off we just take some players from our academy who are ready to fight, ready to play the game. This, what's his name? Thomas Tuchel is a very, very good manager. But what he said yesterday, or what I heard was saying that Chelsea, we are trying to talk to the Premier League to suspend our game. So you want to tell me that the players that we have on the pitch cannot beat Wolves? cannot beat Everton. We have to ask Marina, where are you getting all these players from? Please, Chelsea fans, stop being deluded. These players we have, they can challenge for the league, but we cannot win the league with this kind of players. Not with players like Pulisic, players like Ziyech, players like Alonso. They are not good enough. Marina, please. Next summer, look for quality players. Stop trying to penny pinch. We are supposed to sign, what is his name? This right back last summer, what's his name, that went to PSG? Hakimi. He can also play left back. So I wish we bought this guy, Hakimi. Then we can bench Alonso and then play Hakimi on the left wing. Why is Marina trying to penny pinch? Spend some money. Stop spending money on cheap players. Pulisic, injury prone. Ziyech, what is he doing? These players are not good enough. So that's what I came here to say. And please,
about the likes of Lukaku and Kai Havertz, a lot of people are looking at them. Your 2 record signings at the club, have they done enough for you for the money they cost?
I would say Kai Havertz, he's still very young, so I think we give him some time. I'll give him 2 years. I'll give him Kai Havertz 2 years. If he is not performing the way he's supposed to perform, he has to move on. Not this getting shy. No, we don't want that here. This is Chelsea Football Club. We don't play around. And Lukaku, we know he is a very, I would say, he's a world-class striker. But we need players that can be able to assist Lukaku to score goals. We don't need players like Ziyech that can just cross with his left foot. That's not what we need on this game. And you look at the formation that we play against other teams. The teams, when they sit back, we are finished. There's nothing else we can do. Maybe sometimes we get some luck and then Mr. Matt score goals. What is Ziyech doing? What is Pulisic doing? What is Alonso doing? Alonso yesterday, this guy was messing around. He cannot even watch his own defender. You saw Rudiger and what's his name? Thiago Silva shouting. What are you doing? What are you doing? That guy need to pack his bag, go to Spain and get some paella and eat. UK is too cold for him. Just go to Spain. We have to ask our board. These players they are signing is making me upset. Why are you sending players like Drinkwater, Bakayoko? Where are you getting all these players from? So you want to tell me now that what's this? I also want to get to this guy. What's his name? Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I know he got injured. He's an academy player. How long are you going to be an academy player? For how many years? It didn't take 2 or 3 years for the players like Reece James and Mason Mount to really show the kind of player that they are. They came from the academy. It's time to move on from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's an academy player. We have other academy players. Bring them in and move on Loftus-Cheek. Enough is enough. We are supposed to be winning the league to the teams like Man City and Liverpool. Not signing players that's not worth it. Yesterday I was watching the game. How come is Kovacic and Kante looking more lively than players that were not injured? That's why I came here to say and tell Chelsea fans, listen, there's no playing around. We are not winning the league with this kind of players. We can challenge for it, but we are not winning the league. You cannot compare Man City and Liverpool to the likes of Chelsea. You see the way Man City play football. I'm telling you, if what's his name, Cancelo come and play for Chelsea at the right back, you see the kind of passes that he does that he passes on Man City team. You see those kind of quality passes. None of our players, none of our midfield can make those kind of passes to Lukaku to score goal. Thank you for having me here, Terry.
No worries, my friend. You take care, bro. I just felt like I had to let you get that off your chest. You know.
No, I'm pissed. I'm really pissed. You see some of all these what's his name? Some of these guys they come to your channel and start saying, I think we need our players back. I think some of the players they are really sad, or maybe
who you calling out here? Who you calling out? Daniel.
I think Daniel is saying I think some of the players they are really sad, or they don't have what's his name? They are kind of depressed because the players. Some of the players have what's his name? Corona. They got corona, and so their friends is not around. Listen, you are getting paid. We don't care if Kai Havertz has corona, Lukaku has corona. You go to that pitch and play for your manager. You are playing for Chelsea Football Club. You are not playing for Kai Havertz. He is not your brother. He's your teammate. If your teammate is not around, you put on that shirt and go and go and play on the pitch. That's what I have to say. Thank
hear
you,
my friend. Great call, top man. Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed. I felt like I had to let him get that out. You can see that pent-up annoyance there in him. Daniel, you've been called out. He's on the Bet Victor show later tonight, so make sure you are tuning in. Make sure you're tuning in. Russell's on the show now with us. What are you saying, Russ?
Hey, Terry, what's going on, brother?
I'm all good, my bro. What do you want to say?
Cavani leaving United, cool, but you're not gonna like this one, Terry. I was watching a show with you and what's the guy from Arsenal? Sorry, his name beats me. Straight Facts, not Hugh Weezy, the other guy. Anyways, there was Lee Gunner. Beautiful. Anyways, there's a conversation, and I need to put this to bed. Yeah, there was a conversation about Anthony Martial, and it has to end now. You know. I hear the narrative that's always pursued about Martial FC. And I once had a talk with you and you said I wasn't a part of Martial FC because of the way I viewed football. I would like to change my stance and say I think I'm the Martial FC CEO. And I'm here to defend him to the fullest. Because this kid, the narrative around him is, yeah, he's been a failure. Yeah, he's sulking and he has to go, blah, blah, blah. Martial FC are very emotional people who don't bring facts. And that has to stop because the facts are Martial is the only striker who's been the top goal scorer for this club twice, not just once, twice. He's been the top goal scorer for this club. He has had I'm sorry to swear, but he has had a really bad season last year. I admit it, horrible season. But when the narrative about Martial is being pursued and the negative one, it's always from this angle. It's never from the angle of, hey, this is the only kid in our entire front line, which includes Rashford, which includes Lingard, which includes Greenwood, which includes Cavani, who's 6 months on a wheelchair, but we show more love to Cavani than we show to Martial. This kid has been crucial in every trophy that we have won. I mean, every single trophy we have won per Sir Alex Ferguson. I can give you the facts. He has scored in semi-finals of the Europa League. He has scored in semi-finals of the FA Cup. These are successful trophy runs we went through. He scored in all those teams. I'm just going to finish it off.
Yeah, what are you saying, though? What's your point?
My point is, I totally disagree with the narrative that Martial fans or people who support Martial do it based off emotion rather than fact. Because there's some of us United fans who've watched United for so long and still have the heart to say, you know what, this kid has not reached his potential, but he's still someone who's worth starting for Man United, not based off emotion, but based off fact. Because you look at Rashford, how many goals he scored for Man United totally in his career, because they have a similar time span, 5 years, 6 years. Rashford is about 10 more games than Martial, but GAs, the goals and assists, Martial's goals and assists is better than Rashford, but yet the narrative around Rashford is totally different.
I think what you've
missed. I feel like this
I think what you missed there, Russell. You're right in terms of. You're right. Sorry, Russell. You're right in terms of totality, but it's the trajectory. Rashford's goal outputs have been continually getting better, where Martial's have been going backwards. And I think that Anthony Martial, and where you need to be harsher on Anthony Martial, are we both in agreement that Anthony Martial is technically a better football player than Rashford?
I don't know. That's shocking. I don't know.
So because you know what I'm going. Martial for me is technically a better football player than Marcus Rashford. Therefore, playing the same amount of games and having the same amount of goal outputs when you're a superior football player is embarrassing.
I hear that, but then the narrative about him being an embarrassment to the club and Rashford being the golden boy is what I'm against.
But then that doesn't stack up. If Rashford is, and forget, people have an affinity with him because of the fact that he's come through the academy, right? And that's part and parcel. It's always going to be the case at Man United. It's a big part of our football club, academy players, etc. But Anthony Martial is also loved. Anthony Martial is one of the only football players I've ever seen at Man United to have a song from day one. He had a song made up about him before he even kicked a ball. So there was an affinity there between the fans and him. I believe what happens with someone like Anthony Martial, and people can disagree with it if they want, but when I speak to Man United fans, what they say is this. They see his superior footballing ability. They see that he's got a better touch, better dribbler, better finisher. He's got speed. He can go on the inside, outside, play central, play wide. He's better all round than Rashford, but they don't feel that his ability and superiority over Rashford equates in outputs and wins for Manchester United. Therefore, there's more frustration towards him. And I'll give you an example. This happens in the whole of life. If you're a really good, the smart kid at school that messes around gets in more trouble than the dumb kid at school that messes around, because the teachers see potential in you. In a workplace, if you're capable of delivering in a professional environment and there's someone that's less capable, but you're both kind of slacking, or you're both not delivering, the more talented person always gets more of a focus, because
And I agree with you,
the
Terry.
ability to do it. So I just, because we're coming towards the end of the show, I agree with where you're coming from with
But
Anthony
what about
Martial.
the teacher,
But
though? What
Martial
about
has
the
got
teacher?
himself to blame. That's it.
In your example, which is a good example, a kid in school is talented and one kid who's not talented but puts in enough effort. What about the teacher? Because at Man United, we've had 3 different teachers who we've all agreed have been absolutely crap. So
Yes.
at one point, we're agreeing that the coaches have been horrible, but when it comes to now valuing these players and comparing them, we forget about that. We don't put that
No,
into
and I
perspective.
don't know, and you know that I don't, because again, a lot of people have said Martial's been ruined by coaches, but they
I
don't
don't think so. I'm
they
just
don't
saying
apply that same logic to
to
Rashford.
Yes.
So
And I
again,
agree with you. Yeah.
Rashford's less talented than Martial and had the same coaches as him. Every
Yet
argument
Martial
makes
outperformed
Martial
him,
look
though.
worse.
But
He
he
just
outperformed him statistically. You don't bring that up. I don't get
Mhm.
it. I don't get why you don't look at the stats. I checked them out just now, and before I was like, it's
like I
surprising
just
to
said
me.
though, but look at the last 2 years, whose trajectory has gone up and whose has gone down.
If you put 2 years, I think Rashford has 3 more goals than Martial.
That's
Because
not
the
true. I
previous
did the facts the other day. He's got something like 20 plus more goal
no
contributions in the last 2
no.
seasons.
No.
Something along those lines. It's on my Twitter feed. You'll find it on there. I
Okay,
did the
all
math
right.
the other day. I love Anthony Martial. I
I
think
just feel
he's
his face has
supreme.
been used in a negative way, and it's so sad.
No,
For
I
a
don't
kid
think
who
it is.
doesn't
I don't
open
think
his
it is.
mouth, it's
I
really
think
sad.
Anthony Martial is rightfully criticised more because he's one of Man United's most talented. I criticise Pogba more than I do Scott McTominay because he's 10 times a player. I criticize the more talented players more than the less talented players. That's how it should be. There's no
Okay.
way we should be criticizing an average footballer and holding him to the same standards as a world-class footballer.
So
And the same-
Rashford is average.
No,
Let's just
that
get
isn't
that.
that isn't what I just said. I was giving a general example there. You know, Rashford's a very good footballer. I think Martial's ability is above him. Therefore, my expectations of Martial are higher than Rashford's.
Love, bro.
Always
It's
will
all
be.
love. It's all love. Different opinions, but I still feel like if you look at thumbnails on all over YouTube, it's Martial's face. You know, every time there's something negative about you, oh, Martial this, Martial that, and
No,
this
not
kid has never
really.
said a
I
bad word.
disagree.
I'm
Anthony
not saying
Martial is loved by a lot of Man United fans, but they expect more from
Twitter
him,
fans, maybe.
and that is fair. That is fair.
Maybe Twitter fans, but
Yeah, but then that's Twitter fans.
Yeah.
Bro, take care, my friend. Cheers, Russell, for coming on.
Nice
Great
one, bro.
challenge as usual. Thank you very
Ciao.
much indeed. A few people were saying, I don't know what people are saying, ability here. Yeah, ability. Martial definitely better with ability. Therefore, my expectations are higher. I don't think that's wrong. To think that, how can you have less expectations of a better footballer than a worse player? Think about it. I know the way around it works. It's Joe Bloggs is less good. Therefore, I'm going to hate on him more. I get that. But I don't work that way around. I look at it, okay, who do I expect them? I expect them more. Look at the Man United squad now. I expect more from Cristiano Ronaldo than I do Greenwood. Right? I do. I expect more from Bruno than I do Scott McTominay. I expect more from Maguire than I do Mengi. I expect more from AWB than I do Laird. Cost, price, experience. Some would probably agree that some might say that Ethan Laird's better than AWB on ability. So maybe I'm wrong for doing that. But the better the ability, the more the experience, the higher the cost value of a player, the expectation's higher. It always has been. I don't know why suddenly it changes for Man United. Legitimately, I've never in my life seen a fan base hold less capable players to a higher standard than the capable players. That is literally the opposite way round to the rest of the world works. And we know why that's being done. Let's focus on the crap players in our eyes so we can give the better players that are also underperforming a free ride. Weak. Great point. Martial FC always blames coaches for struggling, but won't apply the same argument to other players. Exactly. That's why none of it washes for me. Terry never wants to be wrong. It's not about being right or wrong. It's answering my question. Why would you, if you think Martial is superior to Rashford, surely the level of expectation of delivery and consistency must be higher for that said player. It doesn't make any sense to hold player ability A here, ability B here, but ability B is expected to perform better. Make it make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. And no one does that. You're telling me at Liverpool, think about, okay, so there's more expectation for Divock Origi to deliver than there is Mo Salah. Come on. Hit me with that ribbon stick. Splash. Bless your little heart. Bless your little heart. It's just a madness to me. It's just a madness to me. And do you know how I know I've got to people on this one?
He's fake laugh. He's fake laugh.
Listen, take care.